Okay, so I'm Marina, and tonight I'm repeating to James Wiener's speech. His main claim was that it is detrimental to allow children and adolescents to play violent video games. His supporting claims were that video game playing leads to aggression, video game playing results in desensitization, and video game playing reduces school performance. Tonight, I'm going to convince you that it is not detrimental to allow children and adolescents to play violent video games. And my main claim is that playing video games, including violence, may boost children's learning, health, and social skills. My supporting points are that playing violent video games may boost children's learning skills. Playing violent video games may boost children's mental health skills, and that playing violent video games may boost children's social skills. My first supporting counterclaim is that playing violent video games may boost children's learning skills. According to the American Psychological Association, violent video games have critical implications for education and career development, as previous research has established the power of spatial skills. This enhanced thinking was not found with playing other types of video games, such as puzzles. And according to a long-term study published in 2013, the more adolescents reported playing strategic video games, such as role-playing games, the more they improved in problem-solving and school grades the following year. Children's creativity was also enhanced by playing any kind of video game, including violent games, but not when the children use other forms of technology, such as computers and cell phones. My second supporting counterclaim is that playing violent video games may boost children's mental health skills. Simple games that are easy to access can be played quickly, such as Angry Birds, can improve players' moods, promote relaxation, and ward off anxiety. And according to Isabella Granick, PhD at the Radboud University of Nijmegen, she says, if playing video games simply makes people happier, this seems to be fundamental emotional benefit to consider. Granick also says that by learning to cope with ongoing failures in games, children build emotional resilience that they can rely on in their everyday lives. My third and last supporting counterclaim is that playing violent video games may boost children's social skills. According to the American Psychological Association, more than 70% of gamers play with a friend, and millions of people worldwide participate in virtual worlds through video games such as Farmville and World of Warcraft. Granick says that multiplayer games build virtual social communities where decisions need to be made quickly about whom to trust and who to reject, and how to lead a group. This shows that they build relationships and groups which boost their social skills. Also, according to Christopher Ferguson, PhD in clinical psychology from the University of Central Florida, players who play violent video games that encourage cooperative play are more likely to exhibit helpful gaming behaviors online and offline than those who play non-violent video games. And playing violent video games socially in groups reduces feelings of hostility compared than those playing alone. Likewise, violent video games played cooperatively seem to decrease players' access to aggressive cognitions. This here contradicts James' claim that violent video game playing leads to aggression. In conclusion, after pulling together the research findings on the benefits of violent video games, I hope that I have convinced you that James' claim that it is detrimental to allow children and adolescents to play violent video games is wrong, and my counterclaim being that playing violent video games, including violence, may boost children's learning, health, and social skills is right because of the evidence I've given. Thank you.
For the record, it's one.
All right, well, you start off identifying the advocate's claim and then their secondary claims, which I thought that's pretty straightforward. That's going to make things clear, except then you decide that you're going to ignore those secondary claims and you're going to present your own structure. So we're getting basically a separate speech about the same issue, but making a slightly different conclusion. The problem is that I'm not sure that your conclusions are mutually exclusive from the ones that the advocate's presenting. Learning skills and mental skills, for instance, don't address the issues of aggression or desensitization. There may be something about school performance that applies on those points, and I think that you need to make those arguments a little bit more directly so that they apply to the information that the advocate presented. We're not really getting a contrast between that information that you're presenting and the stuff that the advocate presented directly. We're going to have to do like a two-step process to be able to figure out where this applies. On the social skills issue, it's only at the very end that you have anything that applies to the aggression point, and aggression and desensitization were the first 2 points that the advocate presented, and mostly your argument just says that, well, if they do it in groups, it reduces the amount of aggression. It seems to acknowledge that there is aggression there, and now if they play in the groups, they'll just be, 2/3 as aggressive or 1/2 as desensitized. I'm not exactly sure that there's any quantifiable impact on that, but in essence seems to concede the point on aggression on that point. So I think it's a little bit problematic the way you've built this argument. I think there are issues in the secondary claims that you developed that do apply to the advocate's case, but you're not applying them directly. And then there are several things that the advocate said that you don't respond to effectively. There's no discussion of the advocate's evidence. There's no discussion of the advocate's reasoning. It's all counterclaims. And so it's a kind of a hit or miss proposition. It's well organized. I thought you found some interesting evidence to support the claims that you're presenting, but I think I could accept 80% of what you said and still accept 80% of what the advocate said. So at best, there's a response in there somewhere to about 1/5 of the argument, and that just doesn't seem like it's sufficient. All right, thank you.